Hello, is that the guys at Binance? Yes, we're from the FCA. We'd like to come down and have a quick conversation with you. Yes, no, not regarding the letter of commendation that we sent to you. Although we are very, very grateful, we'd like to chat about something a little bit more serious, please. Thank you very much. See you soon. So it's not really been a good weekend across the world for crypto-based exchanges. Now, as we see, the FCA has in fact banned Binance within the UK. Now, we have to break this down a little bit further. So they have ruled that the firm cannot conduct any regulated activity based in the UK. Now, as I mentioned, this applies both to their Cayman Islands, which is where the primary company is based, but then also their London-based affiliate, Binance Markets Limited, which was created after purchasing a company with FCA regulation to sell currencies, although they haven't actually used this company for this purpose. Now, obviously, after this ruling, it will be irrelevant because they won't be able to after they can't conduct any regulated activity. Now, on Saturday, we did see that Binance announced it was pulling out of Ontario in Canada after the Ontario Securities Commission accused it and several other crypto holding platforms like Bybit and KuCoin for failing to comply with Providence regulations. Now, Binance have probably tried to stay one step ahead of the game here, and before actually having any fines or serious regulation kind of defamatory or cases coming against them, they have actually decided to leave without being pushed out, shall we say, and probably just letting Bybit and KuCoin kind of fall on the sword here. Now we see that Japan's Financial Services Authority warns Binance once again for operating without a license inside the country. Now, I think this is the second time in 3 years that it's operated in the country without strict permission. So now this does threaten the future of Binance in Japan, although they stated that they were not soliciting any users in Japan. And that's a direct quote. However, Japan are quite harsh on this, and they have said that there is great cause for concern among investigators and officials, as it is presumed much of the activity is to not only hide legal transactions but also evade taxes. Now, obviously, everybody wants to make sure that there's no illegal transactions that are going on, but for a government, one of the main priorities is to make sure they're collecting all their taxes from often lucrative and illegal activities. So it's very much a two-in-one if they can try and hit this nail on the head, shall we say. And that very much it obviously applies to every single government. But Japan have once again said, guys, we're warning you, and there could be fines that come as a result. There could then be a number of other things that crop up. Now, with one more blow to the Binance ecosystem, Silvergate Bank has discontinued the US dollar withdrawals and deposits from Binance itself. Now, as we can see, they were one of few financial institutions actually serving the cryptocurrency firms and have now decided to stop. The reasons haven't been 100% disclosed, so nobody is really certain why as of yet. Perhaps it is the extra pressure from large financial institutions, even the regulators like the Japan's FSA, the FCA or the OSC that we've just seen. But the reasons and the knock-on effects, that's really where the questions lie, because is it a case that they are now tarnished, i.e. Binance, and so Silvergate now can't work with them, or is it just, one small hurdle that is going to be, passed over because Binance, to be honest, are very, very big, and obviously by trading volume, they are the largest exchange globally. So there's an awful lot of money to be made by a bank from working with them.
I like money.
But the question is, on the inside, is there a worry about their particular reputation? That's something that we don't know yet, but would be very interested to see. Now, there are some silver linings to these grey clouds, and I'll outline those for you in a second. But I just want to quickly ask, what is regulated activity? So there's a number of different, I've got different caveats that are thrown into here. Binance does fall into a few. It's quite a long, quite a boring list, you know, very much FCA, as I'm sure you would expect. So a few different kind of ways in which you could get caught up, but typically regulation activity in the Forex world, for example, foreign exchange, is very, very intense. Now, you can trade currency with a non-regulated broker, you know, while you're still in the UK. So you don't have to have a regulated broker, but you take on a huge amount of risk. Now, Binance have been told that they cannot take part in any regulated activities, which means that even people wanting to trade cryptos, let's say on Binance through one of those two companies that we mentioned earlier, the Binance Markets Limited, or also their Cayman Islands, they will not be able to do that based on this recent ruling. Now, this could mean that some people might not fully understand this, and there might be a mass liquidation from the platforms and a potential sell-off in Bitcoin prices. I don't think that that will be the case, because as Binance have actually said, they will not be affected because they have multiple different subsidiaries, and the Binance that you use for Binance.com, that particular company hasn't been affected by this ruling. So overall, there's not really too much to worry about. But the FCA, they haven't released a statement to say why they have imposed the ban. But you know, as a British citizen, you should still be able to use the Binance.com website. And also, if you're, if they, let's say, do continue with Binance Markets Limited, as a British citizen or a guy from the UK, you will be able to use something like me, for example. I can still use the platform, but I'm based in the UAE and it doesn't matter because I'm outside of the jurisdiction. Now, another little golden nugget that we'll go through is... So, some good news is that Goldman Sachs are partnering with Galaxy Digital to trade Bitcoin futures. Now, we all want some nice, good news. Now, I think this is where we have we all know supply and demand within the Bitcoin asset class anyway is very much the driving factor of the price. And recently, it seems as though the shorter term investors have been selling off a lot of their crypto, and the longer term whales have been buying up an awful lot of crypto. So what we really need is we need some good news again to really help the price stabilize and begin to grow. We have found some great support, and recently we are up. I believe we're up around 4.5% today, which is very, very good news. But we need more. And the way that we're going to get more is we need more money flowing into the market so that the demand goes up and obviously the supply stays the same. In fact, the supply might actually decrease, which is a very, very good point, and we'll get onto that soon. But as I was mentioning, now Galaxy Digital is run by Mike Novogratz. Make sure that you do some research. He's a great guy, has a ton of information to kind of say about the world of crypto, how it's going to be used in the future. And I think, like I said in one of my previous videos, guys, it was about El Salvador. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you click up on the banner and actually go and watch that, because it is very interesting to see how institutions and crypto companies will begin to work together. Now, this is really, I think, where we're going to see this mass adoption. And like I said earlier, the mass demand is if we can begin to find a way where institutions can work with companies to actually roll out more and more of this, more and more, I guess, just pure use cases. Because although we might have diamond hands and we might hold 0.1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoins, we might hold 10 Bitcoin, might even hold 100. But the key thing is we're not going to be able to come in and have the same purchasing power as a pension fund or as BlackRock or anyone like this. So that's really going to be where the real demand comes, and that's then what's going to drive the price. So as we see further on down in the article, Goldman Sachs will begin trading Bitcoin futures with crypto merchant bank Digital Galaxy. Now, they'll be serving as Goldman Sachs liquidity provider. So essentially, they will be providing quotes to buy and sell orders for Goldman Sachs and also for their high net worth individuals. This will be done on the CME Group Bitcoin futures. So the partnership, the aim is that it will help Goldman Sachs and its clients gain exposure to crypto, even as banks still cannot handle crypto directly due to obviously the very strict industry regulations. So that's one nice way that we see large money and institutional Goldman Sachs. We know how much money they have, how much money they handle, and also indirectly through their high net worth individuals, their clients. Now, BlackRock, very similar. They manage over $9 trillion of assets under management, which is absolutely mental. When you think about $9 trillion, imagine you pumped all of that into the crypto market. What would happen there? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know I'd like to see that. I'd have to increase my position first though. So BlackRock, obviously, like I said, the largest asset manager in the world, said that it could use Bitcoin derivatives for its funds, two of its funds, in fact, the BlackRock Strategic Income Opportunities and the BlackRock Global Allocation Fund Incorporated. Now, like I said, BlackRock manage over $9 trillion worth of assets, and yeah, so it's a very, very small percentage. But if there is success, then they can, in fact, and they again using the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. If there is success, then obviously they can, increase their position size, and it, might never get to 1%, but even 1% is an unbelievable figure to consider when pumping that much money into. So there we have it. There's a lot of movement on both sides of the fences. We see some institutions moving more towards Bitcoin. Perhaps that's primarily just because of the retail pressure from their high net worth individual clients, who obviously they need to please. Maybe they are beginning to take recognition of perhaps some of the returns, which obviously if you're in a hedge fund or something like this, it is very interesting. But also, once you get past a certain level of finance globally, it begins to be more about capital preservation than trying to double your money. So, for guys who might have an account of $1,000 in Binance, it would be great for you to, you might think it's great to take extra leverage, or to, put it all in on Bitcoin, or put it all in one particular crypto, because there is a chance of it doubling. But if you're managing somebody else's money, and you're liable to pay them back $1 billion if you mess up, then you're not going to be as happy to just YOLO it all on a meme stock or on a meme coin. So this is really where the differences lie between the institutional and also the retail market. Now, this is something that I think a lot of the retail guys don't fully understand, is the mindset that an institution really has when they're trying to adopt a different asset to bring onto their balance sheet. They have to be extremely careful, because it's a whole business that's liable if they lose any of this money. And they're very, very much risk averse because of that reason. It's not so bad for you when you know that you have a job and you can replace that $500,000, even $10,000 fairly easily. But trying to replace $1 billion, $2 billion, $1 trillion is not something that's as easily done. And I think it's for that reason that a lot of institutional guys do have their doubts, especially when they know that someone like Dogecoin, 24% is owned by one particular individual. If he was to sell, the whole coin could just absolutely crash, and you could end up with a run on Doge, and then it would be, almost certain it would go to zero, or very, very close to, which then is a huge issue. And again, you've then lost other people's money. So this is one thing we have to kind of reenact our own minds and rewire them to understand how it works for an institutional guy. Personally, I think this regulation is very good. I think that it's going to allow more scrutiny of the crypto world, but because of the scrutiny, there will then be much clearer rules, which will then allow some more institutional guys to feel comfortable in the space. Right now, it's the wild, wild west. They don't know if something goes wrong, who they're going to sue. They don't know who they can trust. They don't know which companies to use, because nobody has been around for 100 years. No one's been around for 50 years. You know, no one's even been around for more than 15. So there is no track record, there is no confidence, but I think even with things like the SEC investigation of XRP, that will bring clarity. These regulations will bring understanding and boundaries. And so once the boundaries are set, then the institutions will know what playing field they're on. Because right now they don't know, and it's just not quite worth the risk in my mind. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. If you were in control of $9 trillion, what would you do with it? You know, would you be all in on Doge, or would you again take a much more diversified approach and then, you know, only put a small amount in, like we saw 0.00014%. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching it as I have enjoyed making it. Make sure you hit the like button, really helps us out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave us a comment for what you think the next video should be done about and what you would do if you were in control of $9 trillion. Until next time, I'm Ben. Thank you very much.